All right, we're back. Episode, is this 15?
Number 15.
Number 15. It's a Tyler Greyson episode. No Brandon today.
At it. Look out, nerds.
He was stuck at work all night, so.
Some of us got to pay the bills.
Hey, which reminds me, like, subscribe, share, help us out. Like that way we maybe will do this without having another job to worry about one day.
Luckily, at this point, my salary's been like quadrupled, like a couple times over. So
yeah, I'm
pretty set.
But your salary's zero, so it's pretty easy to do.
Well, it's been all those multipliers. It really adds up.
It does. When you make something, it's really going to do something.
Right? Look out, guys! When we make our first $1.
Let's hit the intro music.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Look.
Critically Unacclaimed Podcast. I am Tyler here with Greyson.
Yo.
Brandon's out tonight, like I mentioned before. So Greyson, I gotta tell you, man, I am hurting, and I know I didn't tell you the whole story, but it's pretty funny.
What's going on, man?
So I went. I had to go out to my home out there in the farm out there.
The boonies.
The woods.
Right.
And
through a few mountain passes.
Right. And shout out to my grandma and grandpa Hicks, by the way. They were 65 years married.
Damn.
It was their wedding. That
really is an achievement. Like,
pretty cool.
Is an achievement.
So I had to go out there. So that was like at noon is when we were all meeting up to do that. So I was like, I could go fishing while I'm out there, right? Bennett Springs is like literally like 15 minutes away from where I'm going to be at. Right. So I was like, well, I'll just go fishing. So I went fishing. Only got to go for like an hour and a half. Didn't catch anything, which is fine. It's whatever. It just like it's fun getting out there. Yeah, just kind of. One thing that I've really liked about fishing, which I think we'll get to a little bit later, I just want to throw it out there now. It's on my mind. There's like literally, I'm only focused on that. No phones, no TV, no work. Like, and it really kind of calms.
Right. It's amazing how the real world fades away when you're out
there. It does.
Like,
and it for me, it really get back to the really does that for me.
And you're like, what year is it?
Yeah, yeah, kind of. It's just like, that hour kind of, it just like, it felt like it could have been 3 hours, but in like a good way,
right.
Like not in like a bad way, like it's boring or something. But anyway, I'm out there and I get a good hit, and it's right at the end of the thing, and I seen this old boy next to me, and he caught one on a little marabou jig.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I got something black in here. So he used a black and white one, and all I had was a black woolly booger. So I put it on, and I put a little split shot on, and I let it kind of drift down and stripped it back, and I got 2 little good hits right back to back. Mm-hmm. Well, on the second hit, it kind of fucked up my fly, and when I went to cast it back, the fly came off, and I seen it come off, and I was like, son of a bitch. So I was like, well, it's time for me to go. I got to go to this anniversary party thing, this family thing. So I'm walking out, and I like reeling in everything. I got my, I'm headed out, like I'm walking out, and luckily I didn't have any like fishing line like on the pole or anything when this happened. God, I feel like such an idiot. So I'm talking to these 2 old boys, the guy who had just caught one earlier,
yeah,
and he had a friend who'd walked up by him there, and we kind of talked a little bit earlier. So I was headed out. I was like, guys, I'll get out of your way. You can kind of spread apart, and. For anybody who don't know, Bennett Springs is a state park here in Missouri, and it's like they have a hatchery there, and they stock rainbow trouts in the spring, and so it's really very popular fishing. Like it's usually pretty good fishing. It's not easy by any means. Like
right. You're not guaranteed a bite.
Absolutely not. Like even though they're hatchery fish, after they're in the wild for a little bit, they pretty much act like wild fish. Like right. They're just kind of crazy and eat only things that they can see in the stream. So, but as I'm walking out, I'm talking to him and I'm telling him about like, hey, I got 2 good hits over there. Go ahead and try it out. And we were just kind of back and forth, and I kind of looked over and I wasn't watching where I was walking in the stream.
Uh-oh.
And I tripped and I fell in the stream. And I got my waders on, and like luckily sometimes I don't even wear my wader belt, but I wore it this time, so I didn't get like a lot of water down in there. But my fat ass, whenever I fell, I was like I couldn't really get good footing, and so I kept like falling, and I kept trying to reach, and my hand kept slipping off this rock, so I could never get my balance.
Kept on falling
and
down.
I kept like water kept like hitting it. Like I bet you they thought I was gonna fucking drown.
Right.
I looked like probably such an idiot. Like oh my gosh, it was the most embarrassing thing in the world too.
You a big fan of Bill Dance? The fishing guy that
Oh
always,
yeah.
Is that what you feel like?
You know, It was so, it's like when I got up, I was my phone had come out, so it was just like I was like, damn, and like I had some leaders, and they were in their little Ziploc containers they will come in, but they had all fell out of my fishing vest, and I was like making sure I was luckily I didn't break my rod, like I didn't lose anything, I got it all back. My phone was also in that pocket, and it ended up in the water, but new phones now, you know, they're water resistant, so it's pretty cool. And then
that's awesome.
But I had to wait for a minute because it was all from me falling and like kicking and like jumping around, trying not to fucking drown and get sucked in by my waders, which it kind of did. Like right. When I first went to get up, I felt like I was being sucked under, and it kind of made me panic a little bit. And I was just like,
it's because
holy
it's like
shit.
a parachute.
Well, in my because it holds air, right? Because there's no, you know, it's waterproof, so that no air can get out either. So,
and if your waders catch the current, it'll pull you along with it because it's just like
and that's where it kind of what it was doing, and it kind of made me freak out a little bit. And and the guy was like, "You just got to calm down," and I was just like, "Damn it, he's right." I'm kind of freaking out. And like I've fished there for 20 years, man. I've fished at Bennett Springs, and I've never fell in, like never. Like I never thought I ever would, because I always like watch where I'm going and have really good footing.
Because you were always a young person.
I guess, yeah. Now I'm an old man. I'm almost 36, and I fall in streams and die almost.
No, that's. I'm always on the lookout now. My footing used to be pretty good as a young person, but now.
Oh, this is I'm gonna have to. I've reevaluated my position on stuff like this now. Like I don't have the balance anymore that I used to. And I'm out of shape. I used to always be out of shape, but I was young. Now I'm just out of shape, and the young is not there anymore. The youth is not there.
It's waning. We're not quite old people, but it's on its last leg.
I mean, I won't say that. I still think I got some left in me, but it's just some of that stuff though. Just being able to jump up real quick is just not one of them.
Right, but that is like usually pretty good advice. No matter what happens, don't panic.
It was also like something like you're around and you kind of been through it all, right? And this was like a totally new thing. Like I've fished in that same part of the river or in the stream so many times, and like I've never
new experience.
Yeah, it was a new experience, and it dude, I'll be honest, it kind of like shocked me. I was shocked that I fell, and it kind of because like I just don't. I just don't
down
fall.
For a second, thought about it.
No, I just like got up and because I had to stood there, waited for a minute for everything to clear and settle down so I could see where my phone fell. And then when I found my phone, I was like, okay, I got it. Everything's good. And I was like, sorry guys for ruining your fishing here. Falling right behind you. Cause I was literally right behind these two old men, and they're just kind of laughing at me and stuff. And I'm sure it was the funniest thing that all these guys seen all day. There's like probably like 4 or 5 people there. And it sucked. And I think I freaked out cause I didn't want to break my fly rod. And so I was kind of watching it. I was trying to reach for my phone at the same time, and then the waders were kind of fighting me trying to get up. It wasn't the easiest thing because they did kind of fill up with air a little bit. But I do like my new waders though. By the way, they're pretty dope.
Makes me think of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't panic.
Don't panic. This is a good rule.
And always remember your towel.
But I wish I had on video me falling. It have to be one of the funniest fucking things you ever see in your life. Like because I know for like a brief second I just like flipped out, and like then I finally like gathered my shit together and was good to go. But
well, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you didn't break anything, fly rod included.
So one of the cool things about this though.
Oh, sorry. I put you
No,
on,
no
buddy.
problem. One of the cool things about it is that I did my first TikTok. It actually has 285 views.
Heck yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
What's
So,
your TikTok handle?
It's Hicks OS.
Hicks OS. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, if you're in the TikTok world,
Yeah, check it out.
Check
out my TikTok. I'm going to start making them since I've made 2 now, and they're
see
pretty
some,
legit.
some
And
fishing stuff,
they were about this experience, but you could still check them out.
right? So, what keeps you motivated? What makes you make those TikToks? What's something that?
Well, I think I'm like when it comes to like TikTok per se. Like,
Yeah. Well, since we're on the topic,
yeah. I think it's interesting. I think social media in general is really interesting.
Right.
And one of the reasons that like I like doing the podcast is I kind of want to create a social media platform for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like maybe that's just like my millennial entitlement, that I have or whatever.
well, I think everybody's looking for a platform or an audience or something like that. I do think TikTok is pretty interesting because it's so new. Like it's fresh
It
and
is.
interesting and new.
And it's not as mindless as what I thought. It is definitely mindless. There's a lot of mindless shit on there.
It's that
that's
surface
like
level. Like
yeah.
if you're a random person, you're like, oh, go check out TikTok, and then someone looks at like the 10 most popular TikToks, but they're going to be shitty. Like,
But,
they're not sure. They might be interesting and with a beautiful person doing something interesting, but that's not what TikTok. That's not the portion of TikTok that I'm interested in.
It's not, well, some of it is. Like, I'm interested in interesting shit.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to limit myself. If there's something that's cool and they present it in a cool way,
There's
like
such
I
a
might like
wide
it.
variety of topics out there.
Dude, that's one of the things. I would say that the For You page on TikTok, and I've heard this from a lot of different people, it's really, really awesome because once you start like liking stuff and like it starts figuring out what you're doing, and you'll see all sorts of random stuff about weird things that you didn't
like.
even know that you would like, but you like it. And like, and it's like one of the things that I watched is this guy is remodeling his van on there, and like he's fairly successful. I don't even remember his name, but I know he's been getting a lot of likes, a lot of views and stuff. And it's just like kind of cool to see this journey. And it's only a minute long, but it's like,
Really informative.
it's really informative, and you just kind of get a little piece of this like adventure that this guy's on.
That's interesting. No, I like learning about new things. That's one thing that keeps me motivated. Is there's always something new out there. So that's I am particularly interested in TikTok as well because it's new and fresh and seeing how different people use the medium effectively. Because like you said, there's a million different people out there making TikToks and they're all different from one another. And there's interesting things that make them effective.
And what I think, I also am a really cool, big fan of marketing strategies.
Right.
I think that stuff is really cool. Like I love that kind of stuff. That's like another thing. Like when it comes to the podcast, is I just think that all this kind of social media stuff is really the kind of the future of marketing and sales.
You're 100% right.
And I know they say like, well, it's not the future, we live in it now, but I think it could be even way more than
when
that.
When you talked about marketing, that's one thing I do particularly like about TikTok and Vine. Because they're short, so the people that made the best ones were so great at marketing themselves in 6-second increments. Like they could distill their brand, their package, their vision into these little 6-second bites that were so easily digestible, and you understood what they were all about.
So one of the things on, no, excuse me, one of the things that's on TikTok right now is this girl. Again, I don't remember anybody's fucking TikTok name.
Me neither. That's the one thing I'm terrible about.
I think they need to do a better job. But I could tell you about she was looking for her grandfather's deed to their farm, and it was like a bunch of clues. Yeah. And I don't know if any of this was real, like any of these clues was real, but it was really interesting. The kind of the stuff that she was putting together, and she had edited these little videos into a minute that were super informative. Felt like you're almost watching a show. It's like a 15-part deal, so you wanted to come back every day to check it out. And then the whole time she lets you know at the end, because at the beginning of everything she's like, this was giving me so much anxiety, I had to try some of my CBD. And she takes the CBD, and then she's like, okay, now I'm good to go and I'm off to my adventure. And then at the end of the thing, it's like, I own a CBD company,
right?
And I'm like, this is actually pretty awesome. Yeah. And I was like, this is really smart. Like,
because you watch for the entertainment value, and then at the end you're like, oh, hey, I might support them because you're interesting, or I need this product that you're selling.
The capitalist in me, this is where the capitalist, this is kind of where all our conservative listeners, can get on my side. Yeah, like, listen up. This is where we'll get along. I think that this kind of stuff actually gives a very equal playing field when it comes to big businesses. Damn, man, I don't know what's going on with my voice today.
Allergy season?
Yeah, I guess so. And I was out fishing today, so it's probably what it is. But I think this gives a real level playing field, TikTok does, social media in general, to smaller businesses compared to big businesses.
I agree with you.
Because you haven't seen that yet. TikTok is one that I think we're going to see that way before we see it on any of the other platforms. You kind of seen it a little bit on Instagram. You see it a lot on what's that one, Etsy, like a little bit.
I think there's not as much big business with Etsy, but like Instagram, there's definitely big business because they got Facebook behind them. Same thing with YouTube. Like they have Google,
right?
So like the bigger businesses already kind of have their brand of social media, whereas TikTok, even Twitter to an extent. Twitter is pretty small. When
have you seen what they're doing on TikTok? They'll have like creators make like the like a TikTok,
right? They'll make,
but it'll be like a sponsored one, and they'll be like, "Oh, we're doing." One of the ththings I seen is they went out and bought groceries for people, and it was like a G Fuel thing, or it was I don't even remember. I can't even remember what it was, and so maybe it wasn't that successful of a marketing campaign, but I want to say it was G Fuel, but. They just went out and bought people's groceries, and made a TikTok out of it. Something is completely unrelated to G Fuel, but they got their name out there. And if it ain't G Fuel, I apologize, free plug.
But even
or whatever.
then, that's a great ad because it's just a regular person doing a regular thing,
right? And then you can swipe through it just like you could all the other TikToks. It looks just like another TikTok.
And I think those are the ads of the future, the ones you don't even realize.
I think the ads of the future is the girl who's telling her story and doing the CBD at the beginning of it. And then at the end, she's like, hey, I also have the CBD company. And the whole time she was kind of, it wasn't like, a secret that she had the CBD company. She would always say my CBD and show the bottle and show all the packaging and stuff like that. It was definitely kind of a built-in it was like a 2-second ad inside this like 1 minute thing, right? Which ain't that big a deal. But in the end, you just like her. And so it's just like, you're going to keep watching all the stuff she does. And then eventually you'll probably buy some fucking CBD, what's going to happen.
So I do think that's you said that you end up liking the person, so you buy the product.
Yeah, and I think that's where small businesses, and it's not even like you like her, you like her TikToks. So it's like her personality, her artistic expression used through TikTok. So it's a good way to show, like, if you have a small business,
I think,
and you don't have to be like the owner of the small business, don't have to, but they need to definitely get behind like somebody who works there doing some kind of TikTok.
I definitely think that's the business of the future. We're all going to be content creators. We all have some type of expertise that's the content that we create, and then people will buy that. Your job will buy that, and then it's all about selling yourself as a person rather than your skills. Especially with like the pandemic,
there definitely showed that there's not a big need for brick and mortar stores for anything like that. You could pretty much do everything, have it shipped right to your house, which Amazon's already proven that. They've invested how much money into, their own delivery service. So it's just like they're going to keep delivering shit. It's definitely better than having a brick and mortar store. And then that goes for cell phones and Best Buys, right? All those people who work in those places are going to have to find other careers in it, and it's going to be selling stuff on TikTok is what I think. And you might think that sounds crazy, but you might actually be working for a company, and your whole job is just to be clever on TikTok and then pimp Verizon Wireless or T-Mobile or something.
Sharing those statuses, sharing that product page, sharing all of those different product lines to your personal platform.
Yeah.
No, I could definitely see that. I'm intrigued. That's such a capitalistic society that everybody becomes a walking billboard? That's kind of sad. But again,
I don't see it like that, because I think there's definitely going to be there's going to be people who don't do TikTok.
The way
right?
that you see it is people advertise what they personally believe in, rather than
and almost be sponsored by companies.
But you don't think people just do it for the dollar at the end of the day? Like if there's a company they don't agree with, they're like, I'll just take the money.
I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's like that, right?
So money's the motivator.
Well, I mean, think about just like your everyday job, whether you work at like a home improvement store, or you work at a bank, or you work, in IT, like you're always working for somebody else. And like, you may not agree with that person, but you're taking their fucking money. So it's just like, I don't agree. I work at a bank, and I definitely don't agree with anything that bank does, really.
I definitely have a pretty different work philosophy there. Like I work to implement the things that I think will benefit the most people. Like that, I've told a lot of people, there's a lot of things in my job I would do for free because I enjoy doing them. Like, and I'm good at it, and all of those kind of things. But then there's also things that I think are stupid. Like you couldn't give me $1 million to do paperwork. Paperwork's the worst.
See, that's what I do, and it's like, and it don't pay $1 million,
No,
but
it doesn't.
Even after, like, in this society or whatever, there'll probably still be this kind of position, So like, not everyone will be like walking billboards, They'll still be construction workers and stuff like that.
I definitely,
and you can have your own thing, and to be honest, there'll probably be very few people like Sprint will have their own one guy, or whoever is sponsored by O'Reilly's will have their own one guy doing, TikToks and stuff. But I think that's what kind of advertisement businesses are going to be doing and going forward. And I just think having that kind of experience is going to be valuable.
I think you're right. So I think any of those trivial data entry type jobs will go away with, there's going to be an AI, a pretty basic AI that's developed within the next 2 years that can take away
going
most
that
of
route,
the data entry.
We're both big fans of Boston Robotics, and so like warehouse jobs, I think are going to be really on the probably decline.
They 100% will be. So a lot of these skilled trades, manual labor jobs are going to be replaced by robots or an artificial intelligence that can do it
trade
better.
Like I think building and stuff will still have to be done mostly by people, like, well, what already isn't done. I know a lot of it's done by machinery that's pretty robotic in nature, but there's like somebody
you're
to
always
run
going to
it.
have your tilers and drywallers,
yes,
and electricians and mechanics. All of those jobs will still be a thing, but your like you're talking about factory workers, like the assembly line stuff, that's going to be more and more automated.
Oh yeah, they'll get that.
Logistics centers, so like shipping, distributing, that's
all going to be done by robots. And I've seen that shit on Boston. If you go to Boston Dynamics, yeah. What did I say, Boston Robotics earlier?
You would have found them.
But
Boston Robotics,
Boston Dynamics, they have a robot that literally they use the QC codes, and all the boxes get printed with these QC codes, which they already put labels and shit on boxes now. So this is no different. It wouldn't affect anything with the chain that they already have going on.
It can just read and pick up the boxes and put it on
It goes
the line.
It goes in. It can scan the code, scan the box, and then it uses a suction cup to just grab the box and then go and put it on a pallet. And then the pallet is sitting on a littler robot that can spin and wrap it in cellophane and then take it to its drop-off point where it gets picked up by another robot and loaded on a truck. And this is all you can probably. I think there's a YouTube video that shows this on there right now.
You could, and what's interesting, most of that stuff is relatively old tech. That's like 3 and 4 year old tech. It's just now getting to the markets.
Well, it was cost, and I think they're finally figuring
it's worth it.
One of the things that they've done over several years, really since 2007 or 8, is they've just completely. They built the robot, figured out how they could build it, then figured out they could build it better and cheaper every time. And now I think they're starting to get it figured out. Yeah.
Also,
and if you build plenty enough of them, you'll be able to get parts cheaper because you can mass produce them.
How many jobs exist right now that require a driver? Those jobs are going away.
Oh, Uber and Lyft. You're not telling me that they're not going to use the automated cars. That's basically just free money for them. Why would they? Why would they do?
Truckers?
Yeah. Why would they do anything? Yeah, long haul trucking. All that stuff's going to be so automated, and it'd be faster because you don't have to take breaks if you're a robot.
It's all going to be electric too, so like the batteries won't need to be as recharged.
They already have
all over the truck.
Uber like driverless Ubers. They already have them. Yeah. They're testing them. I seen a guy get in one on TikTok. Speaking of TikTok again, he got on one and basically just talked to it, and it was there's a person. If you have a problem, you push a button and somebody calls you and like, hey, what's going on?
I can't remember what business it was, but it had like a really large campus with multiple buildings, and you would drive between them typically. And I saw that they had a driverless car.
That's Google.
Yeah, it was just a
That's
car.
That's Google campus. They've had them for a couple years
that you
now.
just hop in and it's like where you want to go to, and it just drives you over to the next building.
And they just continuously drive around, and then they'll park and they even charge themselves when they need to. And then the way you flag them down is you just kind of step out and just wave your hand in front of them, and it'll stop for you, and then you just get in it.
I do think that's kind of how like car ownership will maybe work in the like distant future, like probably like 20, 30 years down the line. No one will necessarily own cars. It's part of the city that you live in.
Screw that.
Or they drive. Dude, that's
I want
like
my own car.
It'll be in 30 years. Like you won't be able. Like
bullshit. I'll only be. I'll in 30 years. Like I'm still a young man, Grayson.
You are. Like no, we'll be in our 60s.
I can't walk in a fucking stream, but I'm still a young man.
So we'll be in our 60s, which is not old by any means. Like that's definitely like retired age. We should be going out and like hanging out and road tripping, all that type of stuff. But the world will be a vastly different place. Like we will probably have driverless everything. Like there is a very real possibility we might not need to own cars in 30 years.
I don't know. I don't know if that's realistic for rural areas and stuff. So, but I don't know. Maybe
a rural area in 30 years. Like again, they will exist, but like
I think they'll exist more. Because there was a thing that I read a long time ago was called mega cities, and what ends up happening is like a lot of people from the rural areas, because there ain't no jobs because all of it was automated and stuff, they end up just moving into cities. Yeah, no. And because they can find more like day work, and they don't make as much, so they have to do more public transportation and stuff that's closer, maybe walk to. Oh. So now there's like these like giant mega cities, kind of like Ready Player One, how everybody kind of lives on top of each other, you know?
Right.
And there'll still be people who live in the rural areas, farmers and hillbillies and stuff like that, you know. But there'll be giant cities though, giant cities.
Right. I don't plan on like moving to a rural area over anytime soon.
I would. I definitely see myself retiring out there where I grew up.
I could potentially retire. Like I see what you're saying. I could maybe retire I'd rather retire to the beach though.
I think I'd rather retire to where I'm familiar, like home, more of a home type place. But I wouldn't mind living on the beach for a while. But
I'm a bit of a nomad. I kind of like
wandering. So what's your motivations? You asked me like what I noticed you don't really do TikTok or anything.
No, I'm not super interested in a lot of the social things. Like I'm just here recently like trying to grow an Instagram. Again, I have like 4 posts, so like I'm barely trying. But that's not necessarily the part that interests me. The part that interests me is figuring it out. Like I like learning.
Yeah.
And so that is one thing that's motivating me right now with the Instagram is I'm still learning so much about it. And so anytime I have something to learn, like I'm always after figuring out how does it work? How does it work with other systems? How does it connect? What's the greater value? So that's any project that I've ever done is usually something that I know nothing about because I want to know more.
Is that why you decided to do whenever I approached you about doing the podcast with us with me and Brandon?
100%. It's something I'd never tried, never done before. I had some baseline skills. Like I knew a little bit about recording, knew a little bit about a lot of things. I consider myself a jack of all trades. So
you guys know, just kind of give a little bit of backstory. You guys know that we had a buddy, Mike, who was originally with us, and the whole plan was we were just going to do the podcast ourselves, and Mike was going to be kind of the editor and stuff like that because he's pretty good with computers. The problem is, and Brandon will contest this, is that he wasn't extremely reliable, but he was sick a lot and stuff, you know, and so whenever he passed away. And we were talking about, you know, we really wanted to go ahead and continue doing the podcast. I was like, you know, I think we need to get somebody smarter than us on this stuff. So that's, you know, I mentioned you, and I was really surprised that you were like so gun ho to do it. Like I was like, I figured it would take a little bit more convincing, but
No, if it's something new, I'm always on board to try it out. And if it's something I like, I'll always end up doing it again. But
That's cool.
And I enjoy this. This is actually a lot of fun. There's some interesting problems to solve throughout, which I love solving problems. That's another thing.
Well, it's just
Keeps
like,
me motivated.
like Brandon not being able to be here tonight, and like it's no hurt to Brandon. It's just like this is a kind of a for fun thing that we're doing, and you got to kind of have priorities and stuff, and so definitely a hurdle, right? Like
I also considered this like it's your and Brandon's thing. Like I enjoy way more listening to you guys than participating in it.
Me and Brandon was actually talking about that. Like, you're definitely a part of the podcast. Like, we really enjoy having you on and having your opinion and stuff like that. And it's really not our thing. It's really your thing. And in fact, you probably put in more work than all of us on it because you do the editing.
You guys don't.
But I did set in on your editing thing, and it wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, it's not like groundbreaking.
No, you basically do what we do and listen to the podcast, but the only difference is you edit it. You just like do a couple little clicks here and there and stuff.
You do hookies. It's like that one parable. The guy has like a jet engine that's having a problem, so he calls in the mechanic, and the mechanic comes in and listens to the engine, goes out to his toolbox, pulls out a really tiny hammer, goes on it and taps it, boots everything back up, and it sounds perfect. And he writes the guy an invoice. He's like, "Oh, it'll be $20,000." I was like, "What do you mean $20,000? You use like a $4 hammer in like less than 10 minutes of time." It's like, what you didn't see is the 20 years of skill that I had to build to learn where to hit it and what to do. So that's kind of part of it too. That is
definitely part of it. But no, this is definitely your podcast, man, and we're glad that you're on it and stuff like that. So I think it's listening back to some of the old stuff. This is definitely way better produced and higher quality than what we were doing. So,
but that's part of it. Things have to grow.
It is. And it's really starting to take shape as kind of what we were wanting the podcast to be in the beginning. I think we're finally starting to really hone all that kind of stuff out.
Absolutely. Because things are kind of boring. Like if you have a really good actualized idea and it kind of is good from the get-go and it doesn't really go anywhere, like that's kind of boring. People like to see things improve or change or evolve. So I'm excited. I'm on board. I'm excited to see where this goes.
It's pretty fun to do. Like that's the other, like when it comes to like asking me motivation for the podcast, is I really enjoy it. Being, older and stuff, it's kind of hard to kind of get away and hang out with the boys every once in a while. So it's kind of fun that we have this thing on Sunday.
It's nice having a purpose to hang out too.
Yes, like we got we're just not sitting around like talking about, I don't know, stupid shit, which I guess we are doing that.
Because that's we all.
It does seem like there's a purpose behind this, In
our personal time, we enjoy all of these things, so it's nice to come back on Sunday and be able to share our enjoyment of the things that we've learned from the previous week.
And it makes like me telling the story about falling in the spring a lot better because I got to tell you on the podcast.
Exactly, right?
Like, yeah, that's pretty fun.
Get a little bit of content out there.
Yeah, get a little content out of the deal. Gotta
And it's fun to see the different segments that develop. Like that's been a lot of fun.
It's every day, bro. Ain't that the thing? That's the Jake Paul. Like,
oh God, it's every day. No, thank you.
You should check that out.
No, I'm just not a big fan of that guy.
No, neither am I. But it's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I might check out some YouTube highlights.
It's cringy. Yeah. I won't say it's funny. It's cringy.
I watched a little bit of what's that dude? Zac Efron. He has that Netflix show where he's traveling around like.
Oh, I've heard about this. I've heard it's not very good.
Dude, that looked.
I've heard.
We watched that YouTube about it, so I had to like dig a little bit deeper.
It don't really put Efron in a good light, is what I've heard.
But I think it puts him in the only light that there is to put Efron under. I think that is him. It
kind of exposes it goes back to kind of what we were talking about with TikTok, is like the people who are personable actually make the better content on that platform because they have to get it out so quickly, and get across what they're wanting to get out, like, or what the point they're wanting to get across in a minute. So, they like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that.
I think our people's current media consumption, they're looking for real people. Like we really are anymore. Like the movies that are super popular, like Any Story, look at like how the WandaVision, all those were very much like down home regular stories that most people could get behind. So I think that people want real shit in their media. That's why TikTok's becoming so popular, because it's just regular folks in their backyard, in their basement, in their garage, just making weird videos. And I think that's what people like.
It's also the reality TV factor of it all. Like, people love reality TV, and I think that this is even less scripted kind of reality TV in some cases. Some cases it's even more, scripted. But again, that goes to like however you want to make that kind of story. If you're telling a story, however you decide to tell it, it's whatever.
Right. But sometimes you can kind of see through some of those highly crafted TikToks. They're just like, man, you put way too much work into this. This is overproduced. Yeah,
the editing. It's just like, damn, like you edited the fuck out of this. Like,
right, you spent a lot of time on that 7-second video.
This has a ton of different footage and cuts and shit in it.
I hope they pay their producer well.
I hope so. Like, hope he makes 10 times as much as you make.
Me too. At least 10 times.
All right, you ready for Weekend Geek?
Always.
Let's do
ready
it.
For Weekend Geek.
Geeky. A fucking geek. Exactly. All right. A fucking geek.
Just so you nerds are aware.
Weekend Geek. Weekend Geek. Spoilers.
Yep. Beware. We got spoiler alert at the top of Weekend Geek. Look at us.
Hey, we're
professional. We're
growing.
Here. We're so much better than we used to be.
You want to start it off with Falcon Winter Soldier?
Of course.
All right, I got it queued up. We're going to do the same thing we did last time, kind of keep us in better order.
It really did. we kept on topic. We didn't get to meet any new characters this episode. Nothing
Nothing really.
Good action-packed. The characters are in a different spot than where they were on the episode.
A lot of character development.
Absolutely.
Especially with... what's her name?
Carly Morgenthau.
Morgenthau. Yep. I see. I'm glad that I'm able to point at them and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, oh man, we're still going through the previous. If I'm using Disney Plus, and this is just a pet peeve I have. Right, learn how to fast forward like Netflix. Okay, where it's easy.
Right.
All right, everyone. If you own a streaming service, HBO or anybody. Just copy what Netflix does with their algorithm and their apps, because it works so much better.
Copy paste it over to your own.
100%.
Also, listen up, Amazon Prime. We're also talking to you.
Oh yeah, you're terrible. Amazon Prime.
Your user interface is the worst.
It's
the
terrible.
Absolute worst.
Terrible. It's almost like
get better Amazon Prime.
Stars, the Stars app. I'm probably gonna have to cancel you because you continuously want to stop playing in the middle of everything I watch. So Stars, go fuck yourself, okay?
Right. Anybody, if you do a really, really great streaming service, I will gladly pay you $3 more per month. Because like Netflix is a good one, but it could be way better. There's a lot of feature I want. I'd like more like movie trivia. Remember pop-up video for music videos? What if they could do that with movies? They can. We have all that data linked back to the IMDb trivia page.
They could totally fucking do that.
Have actor or the director commentaries be able to listen to that through the streaming service. If there's like a podcast that you really like that talked about one of the shows that you watch, be able to link that feed into it and watch it in real time as they react to it. We're living in the age of data, everybody. These things should be a possibility.
It needs to be all like immersive, okay?
Absolutely. One thing I do like about.
Are they saving it for VR?
Probably not. They're just saving it because nothing is forcing them to change. Nobody's demanding these features, and the reason why people pay for a service is because they have the content they want, not the feature they want.
See, I thought Netflix there for a while they were doing stuff and that I wanted before I knew I wanted it. You know what I mean? Like
I know exactly
the
what
way
you're
they
talking
were,
about.
the way that everything was working and stuff like that, with the way their app and stuff performed. But all right, back to Falcon Winter Soldier. Here we go.
Let's do
so
it.
It starts out. So we're in it now. In Wakanda, it's a flashback scene, and basically it's Bucky kind of getting confirmation that he's been free from the programming that Hydra did.
His last day at camp.
Basically, yeah, he passed the training.
He got his merit badge.
He's a Boy Scout.
100%.
I wonder, like, now what's her name in Marvel?
It was Ao.
Ao. So obviously he knew who she was in that last one because she's the one who's helping him here. She's the one with him at this. So they're obviously good friends. You think they hooked up? You think
No, not at all.
You don't think so?
I do not think so.
I could probably see something.
Dude, he is a broken man. Like, Theon Greyjoy. You think anybody hooked up with Theon Greyjoy?
So Theon Greyjoy didn't have a dick, but
It doesn't mean he can't hook up with people.
Yeah, but Bucky definitely does have a dick, and it wouldn't surprise me if part of his rehabilitation wasn't some what.
Absolutely not. He is Theon Greyjoy, the broken man. He doesn't do that anymore.
I don't think so. But
Dude, he went on that terrible date. He's not hooking up with anybody. Sorry to derail this podcast with does the Winter Soldier fuck, but I don't think he does.
I think the Winter Soldier fucks. The reason is because I rewatched Winter Soldier, and in Winter Soldier, Captain America, whenever in that scene where he kisses Black Widow, she asked him, "Is that your first kiss since 1945?" And he's like, "It ain't my first kiss." He's like, "I'm old, but I'm not dead." Right? Okay. So do you think Captain America fucks? Because I think Captain America just said he fucks.
I think Captain America does fuck, but he's not a broken man.
He's
broken in a different aspect. So Bucky was broken down and brainwashed. He was deprogrammed as a human being and then rebuilt as something that's not human. Bro does not fuck.
I think bro fucks, and it wouldn't surprise me if pussy was a little bit of the cure for him getting back up.
You're not necessarily wrong about that. I think part of his therapy his therapist is talking about that. Like, you need to make a real human connection and these real human experience because you haven't had these ever.
So you think of the fact that his therapist was telling him
that this is something. Dude, how did we get the fuck here?
This is a deep dive on Falcon the Winter Soldier here.
No joke. No, I definitely think that's one thing that his therapist was talking about was you need to have these real human connections, and that's something that he's been lacking for his entire life because he's the broken man.
Yeah. Is that the title? Does the Winter Soldier fuck?
Let's do it.
We're gonna have to figure that one out, but that's pretty good.
Back to it.
Yeah. So anyway, he gets the confirmation. We're still in that part, so we'll just kind of fast forward here a little bit.
And so that I did like that. I like seeing the end of his programming. It no longer has an effect on him, and then that it's the first step in his road to recovery, to becoming a human again.
Well, I think in being able to say the words in front of him and him,
and it doesn't affect him.
It kind of. I think it probably gave him like a peace of mind where he can move forward, right?
Absolutely.
Because he was trying to do that before. But just the fact that he had that programming, he was never.
Had power
he had that overwhelming power.
Right. Someone from Hydra could walk up to him one day and drop the words.
Drop, boxcar, and then it's fucking done. That's one thing that they used a lot. One word they used a lot in Civil War was
boxcar.
Was it boxcar?
Homecoming was another one, but I only remember that because Spider-Man.
It was Homecoming, and the last one was like boxcar.
17.
They never said it in this. They never said boxcar and. Falcon Winter Soldier, which I thought was weird, but it was used a lot in it was Civil War.
Yeah.
But and the other thing so just kind of continue here with this. He goes back to him talking to AO in the like, is it a street or parking lot?
Yeah, it looks like an alley. Of some sorts.
And she's basically like, hey, we're going to give you 24 hours with Zemo.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're going to come and get Zemo. And it's just, and she don't really give him any option. She's like, hey, this is going to happen.
This is what's happening.
Like, you can...
If you get in the way, prepare to fight. I might have to disarm you later.
Let's see here. So we're going to fast forward a little bit. You get the opening credits.
So what do you think about the opening credits? I think that they could be...
I like it. I like the short.
It's kind of cut and dry.
I want to keep it going. Like
everybody wants to get to the content here. We don't care about that.
There's some shows, American Gods, that is one of them, right? Mm-hmm. Such an annoying long intro and theme song. And it's like, unless you have an intro like Game of Thrones with like an epic theme song, and you can say what you want, that theme song is fucking fire.
That intro is also interesting because during the map sequence, you always see where you're going to check in on that episode. Yes. That was one thing I appreciated.
So it's kind of informative, right? There's something to it. It also, would kind of change, especially in the last few seasons where it would show the wall had been crumbled and stuff like that. Spoilers to Game of Thrones, but Week in Geek, there's always spoilers.
Always expect.
if you're not gonna do that, like if you're just having like I really like Cobra Kai, they just flash the emblem, right? Or in Invincible, if you've watched Invincible, they just flash Invincible on the screen, and so it's just like really quick stuff. It ain't like The Walking Dead. I kind of like its opening, but even it kind of draws on a little bit too long anymore.
It gets boring. After we get done with the podcast, we'll have to watch another episode of Invincible.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
It was good.
No, so good. So yeah, then Bucky goes back. He basically tells Nemo like what the fucking deal is, and Falcon. Is that his name?
Zemo. You said Nemo.
Did I say Nemo? Yeah. Oh, fuck it.
Or like the captain from Moby Dick.
Finding Nemo.
Or
Zemo. Baron Zemo.
It's 20,000 Leagues.
It's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Captain Nemo, or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Right, dude.
That was sick.
We might have to break that.
Well, that maybe have to be a Weekend Geek throwback or something. But we're all over the place.
We dig the nerd stuff.
Anyway, they're just basically talking, and it's just a bunch of bullshit. Zemo is just kind of giving.
What about all these sets? I think all the on-location stuff.
$25 million budget in an episode.
Right.
We talked about this.
It's Disney, so there can be like, oh yeah, this was shot. This takes place in Madagascar, so we're gonna go to Madagascar and shoot there. You're like,
this is in Prague. We're gonna go to Prague.
We gotta go to Prague now. But now, every single scene looks like a blockbuster movie. Like that's one thing that every time it's taken me by surprise. Like there are none of the cardboard backdrops, none of those backlot sets. It is some
it looks
quality.
Great. Like this looks like a movie. Like, and I imagine they probably ran it like a movie.
Absolutely. Every time I see the 53-minute runtime of each episode, this gets so excited.
It's so weird. The pacing of this is very good too. So
I agree. There were a few times I'm like, oh no, it's going to end soon, but then it's paced really nicely that you get everything that you want in the time allotted, and then by the time the episode ends, you're satisfied and kind of want to know what happens next without being too hungry.
I also feel like you could watch this back to back, like, when we were talking about the binge watching, and like you would just feel like this is just a giant 3-hour long movie. Like
right.
you wouldn't feel like separate individual episodes. Like if you splice it all together without having the intros and stuff and the cuts.
What do you think of that move from Zemo with the Turkish delight?
Okay, so just kind of go back there. And when they're talking bullshit, they're basically telling them what they're playing, which their plan is they're going to be going and talking to some people where
like
that girl died. And that girl died who was close to Carly,
right?
Which is the leader of the Flag Smasher group. And then after this, it goes to the Flag Smasher group, and they're kind of talking about what they need to do because they're kind of getting beat up from both sides with like the Power Broker. Is that his name?
Right,
Power Broker.
Power Broker. They're fighting a war on two fronts.
So yeah, pretty much. And she ends up going and getting she has the superhero serum, and she's talking about making more soldiers, right? And and then it kind of I guess before that they kind of split this up really weird, because they end up going back to her here in a minute. It's kind of like a double scene type thing where both characters are in the same spot.
Yeah, I was wondering about
Zemo,
the
Falcon,
Flag Smashers camp. It must have been just like right outside of where they're currently at right now.
That's what I'm guessing. So like they're at the Flag Smasher camp, which is it looks like a cemetery, close by to where
maybe like a
Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Zemo are, and they're kind of going through the refugee area, and nobody's want to talk to them. Everybody runs away from them.
Yeah, it looks like everybody is definitely avoiding them. Like anytime they enter
especially
a room,
Falcon,
people just scram. But Falcon is recognizable.
I think he is definitely the most recognizable. Like everybody knows that he's an Avenger. Mm-hmm. Like so, like they're kind of like fuck him,
right?
Because there's Flag Smasher like insignias and stuff like that all over the place, like little like labels and stuff all over the place.
I was just noticed that. All the red handprints all over everything.
Yeah, it's just like everybody's wearing them and like got them on a piece of property they have.
A big community. Everybody owns everything.
I would imagine
everybody shares it.
I would imagine at this point they're probably like a Robin Hood type where they feel like
That's what it appears like.
Yeah.
And it's showing them all taking care of kids and providing food and shelter for people. They don't really seem like you're bad guys.
Well, I think what it is like these people are displaced, right? And there's a lot of people who's trying to help them. And I
a lot
think
of people
the Flag
are promising
Smashers
to help them, but not really doing much.
That's the other thing. There's people saying that they're helping them and not, and then there's the Flag Smashers who are actually doing stuff for them, but they're getting villainized for it. And so they're just like, basically like, we're going to have to go with the Flag Smashers because they're the ones who's actually
helping us. I don't necessarily think the Flag Smashers are going about it the right way, but I do think that they're helping some of the average folk.
And that's kind of, and Sam is having a conversation at this point with one of the guys, and that's kind of what they're talking about. He's just like, look, I can't be a part of you. I can't help because it fucks up what we have going here if I do.
Absolutely.
And I can't do that. But Zemo has an idea. He gets the Turkish Delight, kind of what you were talking about there, and uses it to con some kids, and they give him the information of where the funeral's going to be at. So you know that Carly's going to be at the funeral,
right.
So the Flag Smashers are going to be at the funeral, right?
I absolutely loved this. Was a clutch move from Zemo. You know that he is a tactician. He is playing a few moves ahead of everybody else.
Zemo is going to end up being like the new Loki. Yeah, I feel like of this.
He's so likable. Like, I really, really like Zemo a lot.
He's likable and not likable at the same time. So, he's definitely like a dick.
Here's the thing with
he's not.
The only thing that Zemo has done that's kind of reprehensible, which I guess is pretty bad. He blew up T'Chaka. Like that was. That was pretty shitty.
And I'm pretty sure he killed a lot of other people in that process, like getting to that point and from that point, and he was like a part of the Sokovia Death Squad.
He killed a lot of the Hydra folk. Oh, Sokovia Death Squad. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And he is a baron too, so he's also super rich. So that also means that the whole time. So think about this: the whole time that his country was being exploited, he was the one exploiting it. Mm-hmm. I think that makes like no sense. He's a dick. Mm-hmm. And definitely, not what he all means. He's definitely got intentions of power and stuff like that. Like,
is he any better than like Howard Stark?
No, he's way worse because he wants it for himself, where Howard was trying to do it for a country. And
what about Tony?
You could say Tony was trying to do it for himself. But I think Tony in the end did it for the world. Right. He did it for everyone else.
It came back round. He did the right thing. No, I do find that. I wonder if that'll be a similar Zemo motivation. I wonder if it'll turn back around where he's less motivated by self and motivated by other.
Just to kind of stop here real quick, on the show, do you think that they're setting up for a Thunderbolts?
Yeah, if they'd be idiots not to.
I would love to see that. I really, like you said, I love Zemo's character. So like to be able to see him like running the Thunderbolts like he did in the comics, I think that would be pretty sick.
I think that if they haven't, they've allowed themselves to.
I also really like the way that they uniformed him up, like the way that he's wearing.
Looks great. He looks.
It's kind of a mix of the two things that he used in the comics.
Right. It's faithful to the comics, but it's also faithful enough to real life that it looks like something that somebody would actually wear.
Especially Baron from Sokovia.
Right.
Like he's got like it's like this weird like kind of cheetah looking fur.
I do love
and
fur.
He used to have that on his like shoulders.
Yeah, it was like a wildcat.
Yeah, thing. And in the thing when he had the purple suit and then he had that on his shoulders. And then his newer version of the comic book, he just wore like a black trench coat with the same mask and kind of like a purple shirt.
They got to be doing something with the Thunderbolts because like I've heard that Tim Roth is coming back as Abomination.
He's in the She-Hulk show, which I'm real excited for that.
Has never gone away in the MCU.
I wonder if he's ever going to be Red Hulk. That would be so sick.
They gotta. They're idiots, and they're not idiots.
So kind of back to Falcon Winter Soldier. So they're moving along, and he told those kids that he didn't want them to tell the information.
I love that.
To anyone else, especially the two guys behind him, which was Falcon and Winter Soldier. And he's kind of withholding that information from him on where the funeral is and where it's going to be at and what time. And I thought Bucky was going to kick his ass, which he probably should have, but he didn't. So.
Right. I think Zemo thought he was going to get his ass kicked.
He did look like he was like
a little bit actually nervous.
Testy.
So then we get back with Sharon Carter, and
Sam makes a call to Sharon, and what are you thinking about this? Like, so Brandon's big thing is he thinks she might be the power broker.
I would hate him to be right, but I'm thinking he might be right.
I don't think she's going to be the power broker.
Because
I think she might be working for
wrong
him.
Last week about King Kong not winning.
Yes.
So maybe he is right about this. So,
you know, Screen Crush had a good theory that they think that it's Armin Zola. And that you will see the Armin Zola body,
an AI or something.
Yeah, would be like his like body kind of like.
The only reason why I think it could be Sharon is when she was talking to Falcon, the only thing she was interested in was getting the serum. That was like the only thing that she talked about.
What if she's working for Fury?
I don't.
She could still be working for Fury, man, and being a part of Sword. And like Sword hasn't really made an appearance in this yet.
I don't know. I think Sharon Carter's compromised at the very least.
But so then after it cuts from that scene with them, it goes back to the camp where I talked about where she wins and gets the super soldier serum. I kind of jumped the gun earlier.
And she's got like 16 some odd vials left.
I think 16 or 17. It seems like they made like 3 or 4. Yeah. And now they had 20 altogether is what they had, right?
Right. One of them died.
And then this.
They got 3
Oh,
left.
so they had 4. So there's 16. Yep. And this guy, he's one of that's a super soldier, and I guess they all met in an orphanage. He's all talking about how Captain America was his idol, and he grew up like really liking the shield and all this kind of stuff.
So it's a symbol of protection.
Yeah, and he basically says that she's the one who needs to be the new Captain America because she's the new.
She can be the new icon.
She's the leader for all the people. She represents all the people, right? And
I'm also intrigued by that. I keep on hearing the Flag Smashers say things like that, like she is the new voice of the people, but I don't hear that anywhere else. Like none of the news people are talking about Carly Morgenthau being the voice of the people, or you don't see any like remember in Spider-Man Homecoming when there was it was after there's all like the Spider-Man Far From Home. There's all of the Tony Stark and Iron Man graffiti all over the place.
Yes.
Because he became a symbol. We don't see any of that with Carly. So, is she really a symbol for the world at large? Is this just something that they're...
Do we not, or do we see the Flag Smasher?
We do see the Flag Smasher.
So, is she the Flag Smasher emblem? Is it not her face?
Is she the spokesperson for the Flag Smashers?
I think so, yeah. I think she's like the de facto leader. And I think that's what he's telling her. He's telling her, you lead us, you could lead everyone.
Right.
And she decides that she's going to try to make more super soldiers.
I see it. Yeah.
And so then they go to they're headed to the funeral.
Right.
And they run into none other
than John fucking Walker,
the new Captain America.
Johnny fucking Walker.
And this guy, I know he's got a lot on his plate. And also Battlestar's there. Is it Hopkins? Hoskins?
I forgot his name.
I think it's Hopkins. But he's the new Captain America is definitely a dude. And I think he's very much under the pressure, and he feels like he's not up to task. Like he's just a guy. It's Hoskins. Yeah. Hoskins is Battlestar, and I think he's just he's kind of cracking. I think it's too much pressure for him a little bit. He's like, I got to fight super soldiers, and I'm just a fucking dude, right?
It's feeling like he's entitled. He feels like, to me, this is what I'm seeing from him.
think he
feels
like
the world owes him respect that he has not earned.
See, I feel like it. Yes, he is doing that. He's not earned that respect. He's thinking he's a symbol, and the symbol has earned respect.
Right. So he is by
default, he should be getting that kind of respect.
Right.
And then at the same time, he's also thinking, I think
he's working.
He don't deserve it because he's he really, how is he going to really do anything? He's not Captain. He's not a super soldier. He's not Captain America.
He's just a guy.
He's just a dude, and how is he supposed to take on all these super soldiers and fight him himself? But he's going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's I'm going to do it, and but he's kind of willing to do it any way he can,
right?
And that's kind of the problem. He kind of feels like they're playing dirty by being super soldiers. He's got to play dirty. By and that's why I think he's just so more willing to pull the gun out and start shooting.
Right.
He's not wanting to talk him down.
He's in over his head already.
Because in the alleyway, they were trying to talk him down. They want Sam to go in because he has, he used to be a counselor and for vets. And
I
he
do
thinks
love that they brought that back up.
I do too, and I think that it's really good strategy. Honestly, in this case, she's a young woman. Like being able to talk to
That's
her might
exactly
actually
what she needs right now.
Yeah, it might actually help. And so he was kind of against it. I mean, they kind of get him to go along with it, and he handcuffs Zemo to like a big boiler or something. And so it's like him and Hoskins and Bucky, and they're kind of sitting back. Sam goes into the funeral and is kind of waiting on Carly. She gives a pretty powerful speech. Most of the people in there, some of them are flag smashers, and I would imagine
they probably all agree with her. Like they're.
You think?
I feel like Mama Danya, that was her name. I feel like she was.
That's who the funeral's
She was
for.
the symbol. She was the leader before. Now she's died, and power abhors a vacuum. They're looking for someone to lead them.
And I think she like kind of stepped up. And was this also recruitment? Like is she like trying to give a speech, trying to see who she can get to give some superhero serum to?
I could see her maybe potentially looking for some support. I don't know. I feel like she's not that type of person. I feel like she was really there to pay her. I don't know. She's walking around the room making eye contact with people. She might want some people to join her side.
I think there's a little bit to it.
But everybody's looking to get some support, get some followers, like and subscribe.
Yep. And so she's her and Sam after it all clears out there, and they're talking,
and it was working.
It was working, and fucking Walker rushes it. Captain America rushes in. Is that what we're calling him? Bad Cap.
Bad Cap every time. Well, what's
does he fuck? Does Bad Cap fuck? He was married, right?
So
was he married? Was that his like old lady in the first episode?
I can't remember.
Or it was the second one, I guess.
But we'll talk about it if Cap gets lucky later on, because I think there's a more suitable spot.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. We're just sitting here.
So here's in reference to Cap getting lucky, he's impatient. So at the very least, he's not a very good lay.
Oh, okay. Little ED maybe.
He's just excitable.
Is that why he's all tense? Maybe he's got a little ED and he can't get rid of it.
Maybe.
And he's Captain America, so
he's under a lot of pressure.
He don't want to take Viagra. That ain't Captain America.
Right.
Like.
He's not a super soldier.
Yeah.
What a weird episode.
What a weird one. It's a weird one. It's a Greyson and Tyler episode.
We dig it though. I also like this, John Walker squaring up with Winter Soldier, because Winter Soldier knows he could kick his ass.
He's got a vibranium
John
arm,
Walker
and he's a super soldier. Yeah.
The only thing that John Walker's has going for him right there is he realizes he is the U.S. military.
Yes.
If Winter Soldier so much as taps him on the shoulder and he doesn't like that,
he could get him thrown in jail.
He could get him thrown in jail, and I think that's kind of a Weasley thing to do. So just square up and try to fight him.
So needless to say, Winter Soldier didn't stop Captain America from going out and making a fool of himself.
It's not his place. Winter Soldier knows he can't hold him there.
Yeah.
Even though he could technically hold him there. It is possible.
He is Captain America, regardless of if you like it or not. He does have some kind of authority.
I do greatly respect that about Bucky, is he still acknowledges him as Cap, as much as he doesn't want to.
I think he recognizes that he has pull and authority.
Yes.
But then he goes in like he's just going to arrest her, not realizing that she's a fucking super soldier.
And can just I'll jump up a couple flights of stairs.
The only one who can really even try to hang with her is Winter Soldier. Oh. And then he jumps down and gets basically 20 people are try to stop him. Zemo got out, by the way. He did not stay handcuffed to that. That would fucking work. What kind of an idiot thought that was going to work? He escaped a maximum security prison.
Handcuffs are going to hold him.
Yeah, they're fucking
Wrap
idiot.
him up with some twine.
He's obviously not paying any attention. But the place is like a maze. Everybody gets separated.
I did find that kind of interesting, that it was so maze-like. It did kind of break my suspension of disbelief for a moment to be like, they ran for 5 seconds and lost each other.
This shows Carly kind of running back behind, and Zemo comes out of nowhere, pops pops her right in the side. And guess what? It's where she had the super soldier serum at, so it all fell out. And it's all over the floor.
And then Zemo sees blood, his least favorite thing
yeah,
in
and
the world, the super soldier serum.
And he's trying to kill her. Like,
Yeah,
he's not trying to talk at all. He's like, I'm gonna fucking drop you.
And as he should, he doesn't care about these people.
Not at all.
He sees that. So
he's made it very clear that he does not like superheroes.
That's an interesting point.
This scene, I think, really justifies this too.
That he brought up. He said that anybody with the super soldier serum is a supremacist. That is something they are fighting for, some type of supremacy.
Yeah.
Except for Cap, and I think that's interesting. That
because and he even said not everyone is Steve Rogers.
Right.
And then Walker catches him,
rocked by that shield,
nails him right in the face, between the eyes with the shield.
He has to have a concussion.
Oh, easily. It's a surprise he didn't cut his fucking head off.
He forgot algebra after that one.
He also forgot to smash one of the superhero serum vials, and Walker found it, and he keeps it as a big old secret. He don't want to tell no one.
Yep.
He hiding that from Battlestar, hiding it from Falcon. He's not
going to tell.
He's not telling fucking anyone. Well, then Carly realizes that she fucked up, and basically it's just the 3 or 4 of them that's left. The 3 of them that's left to do it. That she ain't gonna be able to make any more super soldiers, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think the world needs any more super soldiers.
Well, you get one more, I think, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. So they end up figuring out where they're at. Which I don't remember. Oh, we're skipping a major part here.
Yeah, right. That's
Walker comes in to where they're staying, where Winter Soldier and all of them and Sam are staying. Falcon, see him. I need to get consistent on who I'm talking about here. Saying the same names. I say a bunch of different random names, but it ain't my fault. They all
Falcon,
have
Sam,
3.
and Winter Soldier, Bucky.
Captain America, Hoskins, Battlestar. They're all they're not all the same guy, but each person has 2 names. Okay, so
they're chilling back at home base.
Walker comes in,
and then we hear a familiar theme.
We got the Wakanda theme and the Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje. Is that it?
Milaje.
Dora Milaje. And basically, they just fucking kick his ass.
This is a great scene.
A bunch of chicks fucking kick all of their ass. Oh, what about, what's her name? Just
taking
a
off Bucky's arm.
And
he doesn't really... Sebastian Shaw is such a good actor, because that was such a genuine reaction to him not realizing, oh shit, she can just take my arm off like that, and there is nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, he did not know that she could do that at all. He was super shocked by that.
Right here is why we know that old Johnny Walker doesn't fuck, because he pouts right here. They weren't even super soldiers.
No.
So yeah, nobody should give him the time of day, because he's a little bitty baby. A little whamby baby.
I don't know. In my experience, sometimes those are the guys that fuck the most.
Well,
but Bucky puts back on his arm. She did I was going to say, what was the Kill Bill?
5-point palm exploding heart technique.
She did that to his arm and it fell off. She's like, ta-ta-ta-ta, and it fucking falls off. I thought that was pretty funny. Right. But he puts it back on, and then he realigns it like he did from Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, and he flips it around over,
And then here, just John Walker,
they
just heartbroken.
Weren't even super soldiers.
Yeah, when somebody dedicates their life to training and to kicking people's asses, they're kind of better than you at it.
So during this whole little fight scene between the Dora Milaje, why am I having such a hard time saying that? I can't pronounce words, it seems like, in this podcast. Maybe, do I have this problem in real life? Yes, I think I do. Anyway, that little fight scene between them, they Zemo, he El Chapo'd it under the toilet, got out.
I did like that.
It was under the bathtub this time, and it was way more nicer than what it was with his little abode that he has here in this whatever city this fucking is.
He just ran on out of there because he knew that he couldn't fight one of the Dora Milaje.
Right. So after that, it cuts to a scene where they're at the mall, and John Walker and Battlestar Hoskins are kind of sitting at a little... is it like a mall or a train station? I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, it's some kind of food court. I think it's probably some kind of
it's a Sbarro.
Train station is what I'm. It looks like it's some kind of coffee place. I'm not sure, but Yeah, it is a coffee place. They're drinking coffee.
It's a Sbarro.
It's a Sbarro. I wish.
They got slices of pizza.
Sbarro is so good.
It's the American way.
But it's a traditional New York pizza.
It is traditional. Office reference.
Yes, that's
Clutch.
an office reference. And anyway, he signs an autograph, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm
So,
Captain America."
what do you think about these people signing the autograph? I personally think that Hoskins paid them.
Oh, you think so? That's interesting.
There's just something about
God damn it.
Go back like 2 seconds. There's just something about the way that he looks at the people as they're walking away. That's just like hey, thanks for stopping by. He needed it.
Well,
he was having a bad day today. He got beat up by some girl.
He mentions that they didn't ask for his autograph, and he's like, they should have. I do a Battlestar insignia with my autograph and everything.
I got a little logo.
Yeah, I guess it's like he's really really eating it up.
Right.
But anyway, they're talking, and he basically asks Walker asks Hoskins, if you had the opportunity, would you take the super serum?
Super soldier serum.
There you go.
Triple S for short. And he says, of course I would, because the super soldier serum just makes you more of what you are.
Yeah. And he's a 3-star, or 3-time Medal of Honor.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that's kind of true with the super soldier serum?
Yeah, I think that's been proven.
In universe, that
the original guy who created it said that about it. He said that's what he's found out about it.
Right.
Like, it takes whatever you are on the inside and it amplifies it.
Yep.
And it does that with your muscles, but it also does that with your personality as well. And he gives a good point. He's like, if we would have had super soldier serum, we're going to call it the 3S. If he would have had the 3S, then they would be able to save a lot more lives than what they have.
Right, back when they were in the military, they would have been able to get a lot of guys out.
And Walker did say, whenever he's like, hey, it just makes, whatever's inside of you better, and you're a, 3-time Medal of Honor recipient, he says, like, the stuff that we had to do to get those weren't always the best things. Like, the stuff I had to do or that we had to do for me to get that wasn't always the best thing. Like, it was sometimes really dire, hateful shit. So
tough, or maybe not so morally good, or there was a line, maybe a gray area. So this, I think, Carly Morgan saw showing her true colors here by calling old Falcon's sister.
Is it Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And threatening her. So
threaten not only her, but her kids. And it's like, okay, now you fucked up.
Right.
Like, now you're just a piece of shit and you're a terrorist.
Right.
Like,
I kind of think that's an interesting distinction that they've made.
They do always seem like when the bad guy, when you kind of feel for him, they do something that's overwhelmingly terrible,
and I
to
think
justify their kind of 50-50 views.
Yeah, Carly's pretty sympathetic previously, before she made this threat.
Yeah.
I do find it interesting because Carly said she didn't have it. This was the only thing she could do. She was out of all the other cards. She needed to show Falcon that she was serious.
Well, the whole plan was to separate them, and they want to get
Captain America away from,
and they want to kill Captain America.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they want to kill Winter Soldier too. They probably want to kill him, Captain America, and Hoskins is my guess. But
right, everybody that's kind of standing in their way.
So they get them separated, and they get you come to find out though that like the Captain America is not so helpless. And he ends up, Falcon figures out what's going on pretty quickly, and they end up jolting back. What about the run? Like, it's Bucky's running and Carly's trying to catch him. That was a pretty cool chase scene between two people.
I really enjoyed that.
Like, really kind of amped the stage,
suspense.
The suspense a little bit,
and showing how strong they are. They're able to run that fast and overcome all those obstacles.
Whenever Walker entered that building, did you like that scene? It kind of reminded me of the first Avenger, Captain America, when he come in with his pistol drawn.
It did.
And in that movie, like it kind of, I think they do a really good job of capturing scenes and having throwback, just with like the way that stuff is pictured and set up in a frame. They'll kind of give throwbacks to other. It ain't exactly the same. It's just in that same style, and it's kind of a calling card to it.
Kind of stopped on here with the shield taking up some of the screen and Cap looking around. Like, we've seen this before.
Oh, yeah.
With Steve Rogers before.
I mean, it's all through. This thing is shot a lot like the Winter Soldier in Civil War was shot.
It
Like,
really
it looks
is.
like it's shot by the Russos, and like, which is kind of crazy. Even more so than, like, Avengers is way different, I think. You know, they did Avengers Infinity War and
Right.
Endgame, but it's shot way different than the way they shot any of the Captain America movies they did.
I think that's intentional. Captain America is a different perspective, and I think this is still that Captain America's perspective that the Russo brothers were going for.
Well, one of the things that's made Marvel so successful is they didn't make a Captain America movie. They made a war espionage movie with Winter Soldier, and it just happened to star Captain America
in it.
And with Civil War, it was a kind of
A political intrigue.
political movie, that just happened to star the Avengers. And they've kind of done that with all, like, even Ant-Man, was a heist movie more than, just happened to star Ant-Man, and like, that's where they're not making a Batman movie. They're making these other movies that happen to feature these characters, which is why these movies are really good, and they all kind of stand out on their own.
They all stand alone because there's a bigger plot other than just the superhero.
It makes it where you're not watching you could tell the differences. You're not watching the same movie. It ain't like, Avengers, 75 we're on now. It's like,
Right.
The Ant-Man movies seem like the Ant-Man movies, but and so forth and so forth. But kind of moving on, like, after they get separated. Hoskins and Captain America get separated, and they end up tying Hoskins up. If the whole point was to kill him, why didn't they kill him there? I didn't understand that.
I don't think they were trying to kill Hoskins. I think they were trying to kill Cap.
So you think they just want to kill him only?
Him, yeah. Because he's the symbol at the end of the day.
So one of the super soldiers attacks him, and they have a knife. And anyway, Cap throws the shield, and the shield almost goes through the wall.
Yeah, it, like, really embeds in there. He has more strength than he previously had, it appears.
It appears so. And so, like, it just kind of, and he's kind of feeling it. You can kind of see that he's kind of getting a little juiced up on it,
Right, and he's not used to. You're not used to it.
No, he's not. He's kind of figuring out, kind of like Captain America was in that first Avenger, where
When he was like running
after,
across the cars and stuff. Yeah,
and he kind of stumbling, and he like. He also, for him, he grew like so.
He did grow. He did grow a lot.
What's the difference? Like, there's obviously a difference in that serum. Because
so I think that's the original.
Is it the Vita Rays? Because it seems like that's
because they talk about nothing has been as effective as that original serum.
They also, if you think about it, they gave Cap. If you go back and watch Captain America: The First Avenger, he had like 12 bottles of that serum in him, and then he was bombarded by Vita Rays.
Yeah,
and he was inside that container.
Because
and it wasn't just like
Bucky
one
doesn't
vial.
even have the same serum.
No,
that Steve got.
It wasn't just like one vial of serum, and he was good to go. Or is it serum? Serum. And what is serum? I don't know. Probably something terrible, but a serum. And he had several, and then he had the radiation, and that's what Bruce Banner was. He was trying to figure out what radiation they used to stabilize that change, and he tried it with gamma, and that created the Hulk. And it wasn't gamma radiation; it was Vita radiation. Just a little throwback, little Marvel history there. But anyway, are we taking forever on this?
No, we're good.
Anyway, so there's this big fight scene, and Cap is holding his own against these super soldiers because they might be super soldiers, but they're not trained military soldiers like Walker is.
Right.
And he like bends a pipe, and Sam realizes right away.
Yeah, as soon as that pipe was bent, Sam knows what's going on.
So and so like he pretty much knows, like, oh fuck, like I'm glad I showed up because he might end up killing somebody here. Fuck. So anyway, as it goes, Hoskins wakes up, figures out what's going on, and he's kind of trying to escape. Big fight going on between all of them in kind of one room.
Some outstanding fight sequences. Good fight choreography.
This episode
excellent
was
blocking.
awesome.
All the action is very clear. You can see it in camera. Not a lot of quick cuts.
I'm glad you brought it up because we didn't do it. I haven't gave it enough justice at all describing this. Like, the fight scenes are 100% A+ top of line Marvel fight scenes. So like these fight scenes when I'm talking about getting attacked with knives, like they're fucking badass.
I kind of think these fight scenes are better than some of our main Marvel movies because these are regular people fighting. They're not gods or super soldiers. Like, it's
some of them are super soldiers.
Some of them are super soldiers. They're untrained, though. It's not like Thanos fighting Cap and Thor. And,
like super skilled fighters.
Exactly.
So
it's a scrappy fight. People coming in from out of left field, punching someone from behind, that type of stuff. Really interesting fight.
So they get Cap and they kind of get him cornered and get him held up. And Carly goes to like run and stab him, but Hoskins comes out of nowhere and just kind of tackles her. Well, she gets up and punches him right in the chest from like point blank range and sends him flying into a pillar, and he kills him.
Yeah.
And Hoskins is dead. Battlestar is Dundee. He's burnt up.
Everybody just scatters at that point.
Yeah, everybody just kind of runs. They're just like, oh, fuck. So, like, Carly runs. The other three super Flag Smashers, they all run. And
I find that interesting, too, because that wasn't necessarily part of the plan. Why didn't they just kind of
to me, that shows their inconsistency and their the lack of dedication to, like, you know, they're not.
They didn't realize what they wanted,
and they're not killers. They're people.
That's the truth.
And like when they actually killed somebody, they kind of freaked out. Well, Captain America's pissed, and he cages the guy. Just kind of throwing it back. The guy at the beginning is he's after him, and this is the guy who said that he was a big fan of Captain America. Well, Captain America catches him and just starts whopping with the shield, gets him pinned up. Gets the guy's like, oh, it wasn't me who killed him, don't do it. And then freaking Captain America right there in front of everyone, and it highlights that, which I thought was pretty funny.
Everybody pulls out their phones.
Not really funny, but interesting. Is they're all filming this Captain America just kill this dude right here on the steps. And just beating the shit out of him with a vibranium shield. And then he's got the shield on. He puts the shield on, and the whole bottom of it's just like covered in blood. And it's like, it's a cool visual. It's one that's going to definitely stand out for a while, I think.
Right.
And it definitely showed that people were videotaping it, and you know it's going to go viral in this world. Like they've kind of already talked about that. But what does that show?
How dare you stand where he stood? Well,
and it also shows, like, you know, it made that guy kind of a martyr, and because the Flag Smashers aren't really one person, it kind of made them a martyr, and it's going to bring more people to their cause.
Especially since this Captain America doesn't shave, got all that scruff. Steve was always clean shaven.
It is kind of if you're Captain America, you should probably shave, I think. But
wake up a little bit more early so you can shave.
Just to be fair, though, Captain America wasn't shaved in Avengers.
Yeah. Well, that's because he had to.
He wasn't Captain America at the time
anymore.
Yeah, he wasn't in the military anymore.
He was just good old Steve.
He's an outlaw,
just doing the right thing. I know. I can't believe that Captain America killed someone in cold blood like that.
Yeah, right.
And so that's the issue.
I think it's the fact that it was
in cold blood.
Yes, because Captain America, the show,
he's
killed a lot of people. Even in the first Avenger, he killed a lot of motherfucking Hydra guys.
That guy was surrendering and on his back,
begging, George Floyd style almost, not to die.
Yeah, there was no more fight left in that guy, but Cap still kept on pushing despite that. And that is not what Steve Rogers would have done.
It's fucked up.
So, and that's what's wild, to think about. If Thanos there at the very end, between a fight between Cap and Thanos, if Thanos would have surrendered, Cap probably would have allowed that and taken him into custody. Would have found some way to contain Thanos.
Oh yeah,
rather 100%. than execute him. Which that's what makes Steve so great.
There's only one Captain America.
There is only one Captain America,
and I think this really proved it. I actually think that Sam is probably really close. Like Sam.
It's back to what made Steve so great. Steve never had power, so he knew who he needed to use his power to protect. People less than him.
I think Sam recognized what Captain America, how he was and who he was and how he acted, and he struggles, but yet he tries to do the same thing. And he tries to be it's almost like what would Captain America do instead of what would Jesus do, right? It's what would Cap do?
And even look at the work that Sam did as a counselor therapist talking to veterans with PTSD. That shows that
he's kind of got that.
His commitment to the military wasn't to become a general and lead men. It was to help the people out there on the ground and the ones that were hurting, and that's what Cap's all about.
It's I don't know. It's where do you've seen the trailer to the next episode? It looks like they're showing some like where he has the shield. So do you think he's going to get it back in the next one or what?
Well, somehow, because they showed it in the trailer.
And there's 6 episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
we got 2 more.
We got 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
So they showed it in the trailer. So that means he's going to get it back, and then he's going to be Captain America in the last one. And
so I wonder then if with Bad Cap going viral for killing someone, if he's going to get like court-martialed or somehow brought home.
Yeah, of course. And then he's going to be a Thunderbolt.
And because what's that Thunderbolt character?
U.S. agent.
Use that U.S. agent.
Yeah, that's who he's been a Thunderbolt before in the past in the comics as U.S. agent.
Ooh,
and
they'll want him especially because he's got the super.
And he's got the super soldier serum, so it's going to be. I think we could be looking at a Thunderbolts between Taskmaster, U.S. agent, Baron Zemo as the leader.
Yeah.
The Abomination, Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Because she's kind of fixed up, you know,
right,
and she was already in military, did military. That's
also
shit before.
Great because they can use some of the great Marvel villains that we already have established,
or set up another Hydra. And I know
damn it, Tyler, we told you don't bring up Tyler this time. Don't bring up Hydra.
I'm telling you, as soon as you think that they're done with Hydra, that's when Hydra's coming back. Okay.
You're probably right.
And because that's what happened in the comic books. And there's one thing that they've done is they've been pretty consistent with not really telling the exact story in the comic books, but keeping the same tropes as comic book movies. And I just know that Hydra's going to come back. Like it's always Hydra. It's always fucking Hydra. Like, I mean, it ends up being Hydra all the time.
It really does.
Like, I don't know. But anyway, that's our rundown of Falcon Winter Soldier. Watch the show. Also, let us know if you guys are watching it. Like, let us know if we need to keep doing breakdowns on all these shows. Like, more than likely, we're probably going to do them anyway, so it don't matter. But I'm interested to see if you guys like it. This is why we do the
podcast, because we want to talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier.
It's one of the reasons. I really like talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. So,
or if there's any points that you saw that you'd like us to explore more, or if we're completely wrong, if you disagree with our opinions.
Yes, if you think Hydra's done, let us know. So, but just kind of, we wanted to talk a little bit more after this about MCU. Me and Grayson are huge Marvel nerds. We love it, and
because it does look like we'll have a bit of a lull after this show ends
until
Loki.
July, and there'll be Loki.
So
there'll be I guess Black Widow comes out right around the same time.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll have.
We should split that. We should get it and split it or something at somebody's house, or go see if we can go to the theater and watch Black Widow or something.
Oh, absolutely, I'm down.
I don't know, with COVID, but I'm probably down to go to the theater.
Right.
So, but yeah, do you think they're gonna do it? They're definitely gonna do a Thunderbolts. I could already see that set up. If we Marvel's definitely planning a Thunderbolts thing. They have to be.
They'd be idiots not to.
It's just they got it too. Like, if they can get everybody together, they have to do that. I really dig the shows, and it makes shows that I didn't know that I would be more interested in, like the Armor Wars that's supposed to be with War Machine and stuff. I'm super pumped about it because, like, if it's got, if it's called Armor Wars, that means there's multiple Iron Man in this. Mm-hmm. Like, that sounds like it's going to be freaking fantastic.
Yeah, I'd also like to see some even more lighthearted, less connected to the big stories as a whole. I don't necessarily know precisely what I'm looking for, but I think seeing an average perspective, maybe some Young Avenger type hijinks.
Man, I could see that too, because they got already set that up with WandaVision with her kids. And then who's the other Young Avenger they could be setting up? Oh, didn't in the movie, what's his name's daughter? Ant-Man's daughter is already big enough that she's a hero in the comics too. Yep, Hawkeye's daughter.
So I think that could be.
I think it could happen. That could
happen. A series with Rocket Raccoon that's space adventures.
See, that's something that I didn't know I wanted until this very moment. And that Rocket and Groot TV show.
Right.
Like, I need that in my life. Just the only Rocket and Groot where they're on like a secret mission by themselves.
They could be 30-minute episodes, not affect like the Marvel universe as a whole.
Maybe a prequel of just Rocket and Groot and how they came to, being and how they came to be friends and stuff. Right. That would be sick. A TV show going through that.
I would watch that.
100% fucking down for that. Damn, why don't they need to pay us money to come up with this shit?
They need. Hey, Marvel, listen to this podcast, like and subscribe.
$25 million budget, you could probably do that. Like if it's mostly in space, so all this shit's mostly going to be in sets anyway.
You could give us a $2.5 million budget, and we could make.
I'm just going by this. You do 6 episodes, that's $150 million.
Well, we're just going based on
your previous
your current goals of $25 million per episode. Just give us that.
Give us that, and we'll make you a fucking Rocket Raccoon show. Okay, right. Like a Rocket and Groot will be banging. All right, let's do it,
dude. We could do that. That could be a lot of fun.
Definitely could do that. I could definitely write that. There was a comic. I had some of the comics, the Rocket and Groot comics. They were pretty funny. It's just Rocket shenanigans the whole time, and kind of keep it Groot's I am Groot and funny pinpointed
in the
areas.
Vein of like we've talked about multiple times, X-Men animated series where they have like a couple episodes that are one-offs, a couple episodes that are like part 1s and parts 2s, and then have like a 10 episode series that's just different little adventures that Rocket and
I could see even a 6 episode. Like you could do a little 6 episode Rocket and Groot adventure.
That is the one problem with Rocket and Groot that you run into an issue. That's Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel that you have to pay.
I think you could probably use Vin Diesel's voice from the previous movies, and then
already have it recorded.
Bradley Cooper, but you get $25 million an episode. So I mean, it's like he gets like $2 million. So you give him $2 million in episodes. He makes $12 million off the deal, and then you just use the rest of it for CGI and all the other shit. Yeah, you could do that. I think that's doable. Was that it, Grayson? Are we wrapping it up?
I think we might be wrapping up. I don't got anything else.
I don't either. It was a good episode, man. It was pretty fun.
Still motivated to be here.
I like Tyler and Greyson episodes.
These are good.
But I hope this is the one that gets us to 1,000 likes. So everybody comment, subscribe.
And if you have a different opinion on the Winter Soldier, let us know.
And yes, definitely. If you let us know anything. If you have a different opinion about anything we've said on here, or just question any of our motives or anything, just let us know. I'm just interested to see. I don't know. This is one of the things that we kind of talked about earlier. This is kind of an experiment, and we're just kind of messing around with it. So it's kind of feedback is one of the things we need. So let us know the feedback. But you can find us at Critically Unacclaimed on Facebook. You can find us at Unacclaimed Pod on Twitter. I am Tyler here with Grayson. Brandon is out tonight. I think we were going to wrap it up. You guys have a great evening, or great morning, great weekend, whenever you're listening to this. I don't fucking know. Just be great. Don't fall in any streams. Nope. Peace out.
All right, have a great weekend, everybody. Later on. See you next week.
Straight from the mud like Ruby. Straight to the stage, they love me. I understand they hungry, but please don't hate, that's ugly. I've been sliding, shaking, moving. I've been popping in my city. Shawty say she love the way we do it with me. I be too turned up to ever give a fuck. I ain't come to argue, let a nigga fuck. They been talking pennies, I need bigger bucks. About to catch a flight, I need to switch it up. Got that black boy joy, might do my dance on him. Take no disrespect, might put my hands on him. Hit this chicken, now she wanna marry me. But she gon' need some closure and some therapy. Came back to the city with my bank account on F. Giving rappers hell, I know they happy that I left. Hit the south in winter, I just put down my deposit. 82 degrees, I left that jacket in my closet. Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Hey, look, came in with the what's that? Left out with the who she? Laying game like 2D, I been kicking shit like Bruce Lee. Margarita to the brim tip, black denim need a slim fit. Same people that I flex with be the ones that I'm in the gym with. I'm a living legend, you a dead cause, and I'm dead ass. No, I'm dead, right? Leaving early, but I'm early night. Long and short to keep the head right. Teed up out in Malibu, got sand all in my good shoes. Press a nigga with the pessimism, but I only came for the good news. I am the show that they came for, hitting the target I aim for. We been discussing the contract, just telling they get what they paid for. I am not fucking with poverty, really it started to bother me. I need the yacht with the property, that come with the view that you gotta see. Came up from the basement, hit the rooftop with a passion. Bad bitch with some good credit and a good sense for the fashion. Dope blowing with the left hand, ass gripping with the right hand. Uber share to the airport, I'ma hit you back when my flight land.
I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that say stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a